We're back with our second selectee for the Cardinal Pride Hall of Fame, Bob Martin. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Quite an honor. Really appreciate it.
So 1981 you graduated.
I did.
And three sport letter winner, successful seasons throughout. What do you remember most about your high school athletic career?
I remember playing sports with my friends and growing up together and suddenly being at the high school playing on the same teams and just enjoying every minute of that. The chance to play with some outstanding coaches at Willmar, just a great experience. Coach Ramey for football and Coach Schrader in basketball, and then having Coach Ramey again for track. So just great memories.
So you said you kind of grew up with the same kids. Who were some of those athletes that you played with during that time period?
Well, Scott Kronquist was a great athlete. I remember he and I just pushing each other throughout high school, and Bob Haynes and Larry Barr, and just always pushing one another and just enjoying competing together.
You were successful in high school in athletics. What do you think that did for you in your adult life?
I just carried on what the coaches had told us, and just working hard as a young man, and had some success on the athletic field, and commitment and hard work, and I've carried that on in my adult life and in my work, and playing in team sports, learning to work together, and I've carried that through with my professional life.
Now you mentioned some coaches that you played for. Who were the coaches that probably had the most impact on you as you were even growing up? Because you never forget those high school coaches.
I'd say Coach Ramey. He was much more than a coach to me. Always there for me. He had a football office at the old high school, and when you walked in and talked to him, he gave you his full attention. He cared about your well-being, and you always felt better about yourself when you left his office.
Now, as you finished up your career in high school, I know you went to college. Did you play athletics in college?
I played for 2 years at St. Cloud State, and then decided to focus on my studies, and ended up graduating from the University of Minnesota Morris.
I think a lot of people find out the demands on your time being a college athlete take a lot of time out of your life.
Yeah, it sure does. And once I got to Morris, it was nice just to focus on the studies and get my degree and start the second phase of my life.
Now, I know it's probably hard for you to believe, but you've been out of high school now 28 years. So if you think back and reflect, are there any specific games that, as you look back, that would be your highlight reel if you could go back and look at it again?
It's hard to remember games that far back. There was the conference was always tough. The competition was always tough. I remember just looking forward to playing St. Cloud Tech and Brainerd every year. And I think I had a couple of good games against Brainerd in basketball, but otherwise, no. I just remember again competing with my friends. Had a lot of pride putting on the uniform for Willmar and representing the school and the town.
Now, there was an academic side to you too here in high school. Any teachers you remember that may have had an impact on you as you continue to grow up and expand and go into adult life?
I remember Mr. Borth and Mr. Nelson being just fantastic teachers. I think they were maybe on the younger side and related very well to the students, and we wanted to do well for them. I just ran really good classes and very enjoyable.
Do you still have family in town, Bob?
Yes, my mom, Marion Martin, still lives in town, and I've been out of school 28 years, and I think at least once a month she sent me clippings from the Willmar paper. I try to stay connected to Willmar, and she makes sure that I get all the news from the town, so try to get back and see her as much as we can.
Okay. Married, have a family?
I married a 1982 graduate, Michelle Bosson, and I really lucked out getting her. She's a wonderful partner and a wonderful mother. I've got 2 boys. I've got a 10th grader and a 7th grader in the Wayzata School District.
There are a lot of people that say business and athletics are similar. Do you think the coaches you played for gave you something that you could take into your adult life and use in the job you have now? Because you've worked in this for the same company for about 20 years, haven't you?
I'd say yes. I remember being associated with Coach Ramey and hard work and dedication. And I remember this spring of my senior year, I was tossing around the idea of not doing track, and I remember Coach called me in and he said, you will regret this if you don't finish what you started. And I've carried that with me forever. I'm not going to give up, and I think it's carried over into business and my professional life and my family life, just trying to see things through to the end.
Well, from what I understand, you're one of the top 10 record holders in the 400. That's just a grueling race. You must have had quite a bit of speed.
Yeah, I did, but that race is so tough, and Coach Ramey was the track coach, and I had a 400, and then my buddies would be done with their races and enjoying the rest of the track meet, and I always had to run the last leg of the 1,600 meter relay, so I had 2 400s every meet for forever, and it just a grueling race.
On the final turn, did the bear jump on your back?
And the final turn, I usually had my buddies cheering me on, and that's one thing I remember about Willmar. If we weren't, my friendships are lifelong friendships, and most of them started on the sporting fields, and if we weren't participating, we were there cheering one another on, and so that last leg, usually I had 5, 6, 7 guys encouraging me to finish strong.
Do you find that that's the way it is where your kids go to school now, or? Yeah,
I think my kids' friends are very supportive, and similar to Willmar, where today I saw several parents of the friends that I grew up with here supporting me, and that's 29, 30 years of support, just amazing, and I'm seeing the same thing with that, just a good sense of community.
Your senior year, you were selected for a really big honor. It's not something that everybody gets, and how do you feel about being selected to play in the high school all-star game?
It was an unbelievable honor to play at Parade Stadium against that kind of competition, and I owe everything to Coach Ramey for that. And then playing in the game, it was extra special knowing that my brother had played in the same game in 1974 at the old Memorial Stadium, so it was just a fantastic game and fantastic experience.
Well, Bob, I really appreciate you coming in today and sitting down with us, and congratulations on being selected for the Cardinal Pride Hall of Fame. It's a really big honor, and from what I've been able to find out, it's well deserved.
Thank you very much. It's a real special day for me, and I'm very appreciative. Thanks.
Our second inductee is 1981 graduate Bob Martin. In 1981, Bob was selected to play in the Minnesota High School All-Star football game. During the 1980-81 season, Bob was voted captain of the football, basketball, and track teams. 4 times Bob was voted all-conference, twice in football and twice in basketball. Bob was a 3-time letter winner in football, basketball, and track. And Bob still holds the 9th fastest time in Willmar track history for the 400-meter dash. Bob's favorite memories are the annual rivalry games with St. Cloud Tech and Brainerd in football and basketball, and the lifelong friendships he has with fellow Willmar Cardinal teammates. In his spare time, Bob enjoys spending time with his family and supporting his son's extracurricular activities. Bob's plaque is presented by Cardinal Pride Board member Jeff Sawyer. Bob Martin.